it was very, very hard to convince my parents, especially my mom. Very hard to convince her to let me go and compete. I could see it on her face that she, I shouldn't let her watch this. Every single day I was there, I was just like, I don't care who's in front of me. I don't care where you're from. I don't care how long you've been doing the sport. I don't care how many more fights you have than me. I'm gonna win.
Do you find that you're comfortable in environments that are uncomfortable?
No.
You're uncomfortable around discomfort.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it because I know that it's gonna make me so much better.
Representing the country abroad, first time you did it, what kind of high does that come with?
Honestly, it was a lot of pressure.
Putting yourself first is one of the best things you can do for yourself.
It is, but it becomes a very lonely life.
It did very well, that place. I think it's been around for 10 years now?
Yeah, around.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the first octagons in town.
Yeah.
So how long have you been practicing it?
So I started late 2019 and then did it for about maybe 4 months. And then COVID hit. So we stopped. Then August 2020, we started again. And then a couple months after that, I went into my first tournament in the national championships.
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So I could probably count 10 different martial arts that come to mind: karate, judo, taekwondo, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Tai Chi. Wow, I know more than I thought I did. Why specifically Muay Thai?
At an altitude of 37,000 feet, we soar, with a rich legacy of honoring our guests and a unique style that has resonated with the world for 78 years. We carry the name of our country on every journey and across every sky. We are Saudi. We welcome you in our own way. We shape our present and build our future. Saudia, our name and country, our style and approach, striving for excellence in everything we do. This is how we fly.
You can use everything in your body as a weapon. You can use you have your hands, your elbows, your knees, your 2 legs. You can kick, you can clinch, you can sweep. It's the most that you can do. But the only thing is that when the opponent is on the ground, you just can't touch them. You can't do anything. So you have to wait for them to get up. But other than that, it's the most active, in my opinion, the most active combat sport other than MMA. And Muay Thai relies on aggression. So it's not like boxing where I can weave and I can step back and I can jab and I can use that sort of, you can call it finesse, Muay Thai is about who is presenting themselves as the stronger fighter, who's more aggressive, who's dominating the ring.
Do you watch UFC?
Yeah, I do.
UFC is intense.
It is.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah. But it's
and I don't just mean participants, but I mean viewers as well.
Mm.
Obviously, it has a huge fan base.
Yeah.
But not everyone loves that it's so bloody. And it's almost like, fight to the brink of death until someone passes out. How do you feel about that sport?
I mean, I love it, honestly.
Do you see a day when you maybe would would want to enter that?
Yeah, not UFC. But actually, maybe UFC, maybe MMA. Maybe I make the switch to MMA. But for now, I have my eyes set on one championship. I want to fight there professionally. So inshallah, one day I'll make it there.
Do we have any representation anywhere near the world of UFC on a Saudi level?
There's Hattan Assef.
Hattan, yes.
And Abdullah Yahtani. And, but she's had like 2 fights, I think. First one was a knockout in like the second round. And the second fight, the opponent mid-fight just said, I don't want anymore.
Oh.
She just pulled out.
Tapped
immediately. Yeah. She didn't even tap out. Like the round finished and they were about to go into the second round. And then her opponent was like, no, I don't want to fight anymore.
Reason?
Sheesh.
Was it intimidation?
No, I think she just got hurt. She wasn't expecting the type of power that Hattan has, because Hattan does have a lot of power.
Did she take you down?
No, I never sparred with her.
So, okay, I'm sure your parents are always worried about you when you're doing what you're doing today, and it's nowhere near the world of UFC or MMA. How do you think your mother and father would take the news of you wanting to join UFC one day if you do?
They know.
They know
that, yeah.
How do they feel about it?
My mom and my dad, they always say the same thing. They say that, my mom said, I didn't bring you into this world, raise you just so you can like go out there and like fight and get hurt. But that's become more of like a, like, I don't know, like somewhat of a joke, that we say. But when I told my dad, then I was serious about it. I told him I want to go and I want to compete professionally in one championship. He said, he stopped for a moment, sat, thought about it. And then he said, if that's what you want to do, then I'm going to support you 100%.
It's amazing.
So, but it was tough in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, my parents didn't even want me to train. They didn't want me to train at all. I went to extreme lengths just to go to training. But, and in the first tournament, obviously, it was very, very hard to convince my parents, especially my mom. Very hard to convince her to let me go and compete.
I hear of that so much with parents. Raha, who climbed Everest, her father had a fit the first time she told him that I want to climb Everest. I was speaking to an astronaut. Okay, hasn't been to space, but now practices in the Saudi space, and her parents were very against it. It's funny how the more parents maybe look into what it is that their child wants to do and understand it, and there's just nothing more beautiful than your father saying, you know what, this is really what you want to do. I'll support you. Those are the kind of things you'll never forget.
100%.
Because not everyone gets the support.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's, it's... And when I first started my first championship, they didn't come. My parents didn't come. Nobody came. Not because they didn't want to. It was just like my mom only agreed to it like a week before. She agreed to it. And then she was so terrified of me going and fighting. And she wanted to come. I told her not to, because I could see it, on her face when she said, okay, you can go. I could see it on her face that she, I shouldn't let her watch this.
She wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. But she did end up watching it. Alhamdulillah, didn't come back with any serious injuries, although I lost the fight. It was a really, really good experience for the first time. And then after that, slowly she got more comfortable with it. Second championship. And from then on, every other championship, every other fight, she came to Paris with me, even. Every other fight, she was there all the time, even my dad. So it's amazing.
How old are you?
21 now, but I'm turning 22.
It's very young. In doing this for 4 years now, 5 years?
About, yeah.
What have you learned that was a strength of yours? That's something that you really feel that because you have this, you are able to be where you're at. And have you identified a weakness that you want to work on?
I think my biggest strength is I'm disciplined. I think motivation is good. It's good to be motivated, but I realize that there are many days where I'm not motivated. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm tired. I'm hurt. I want to just stay at home. But I know that I need to. I know that I need to go to the gym because if I don't, I'm going to lose. And I can't risk that because I can't imagine not putting my all into it and knowing I didn't put my all into it. And then at the end of the day, I lose my fight. So I think that's the biggest thing I have going for me. And as for weakness, I think I would say it's like it's always I have it in my head. It's a very, very bad thing. But most athletes, especially in combat sports, they feel the same way. They think the same way. They're like preparing for a fight, and then they're like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not training enough, even though they're training twice a day, every day. In their head, they're like, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I'm gonna lose. I'm not good enough. This guy's way better than me, has much more experience than me. And that was the case for me in the World Combat Games. It was, I was like competing against people who have belts, who have world titles, professional, people who competed in RWS, people who have...
What's RWS?
RWS is Raja Damnern World Stadium, I think. That's what it stands for. And it's, they have several titles there. The most prestigious being the Raja Damnern World title. And that one, you need to have, I don't even know. I don't even know how many fights you need to have before you can even be considered for that title run. But it's a very, very difficult title to have. And very few non-Thai fighters have it. And one of the fighters that I fought in the World Combat Games has that title.
Wow. Heavy hitters. So that's a very intimidating scenario to
so
find
you can
yourself.
imagine, I'm coming in here with my 3 national championships or whatever, and I'm against these guys. My head is just spinning. I was like, I'm gonna get knocked out in my first fight.
How much did you grow from that environment? Obviously, it was very intimidating for you in the beginning, but when the dust settled and you finished and you came home, you must have felt pretty good about yourself.
I did. I learned that there's nothing that I can't do if I just, like, khalas, I've trained. I've trained just like they trained. I've put everything into that camp. There's no reason why I wouldn't come out on top. Of course it's a fight. Anything can happen. But it's not to say that it's impossible for me to get the gold medal. It's impossible for me to even be on the podium. Anything can happen. And I have just as much as a chance as these guys do. So I learned that while it's okay to sometimes, have check yourself a little bit sometimes, say, I'm not training enough here, I need to do a little bit more. You also need to know to believe in yourself. That's the most important thing. Believe in yourself. يعني أكيد طبعا قبل كل شيء توكل على الله سبحانه وتعالى. ويعني أدعي إنه ربي يمدني بقوته. خلاص. قول بسم الله وأدعس.
Do you find that you're comfortable in environments that are uncomfortable? Are you comfortable with the lack of comfort?
No.
You're uncomfortable around discomfort.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it because I know that it's going to make me so much better. It's going to elevate me to a level that I didn't even think was possible. And that's what happened when I went to Thailand for the first time. So I went there for 2 months and it was horrible.
It was horrible.
It was horrible.
How?
Because I went there and I wasn't, like before that, I wasn't training. You know, I had about a month where I was traveling with family. So I immediately went. And when you go there, there's no warm-up week. You immediately go there, you're set with the program, with the rest of the fighters that are there. About a 4-kilometer uphill run in the morning, set 7 a.m.
First thing
in the morning, 7 a.m., 4 kilometers uphill. After that, you come back to the gym and you do 3 rounds of pad work. And then it's 300 knees, 200 push kicks on the bag. After that, you go back, you rest, 4 p.m. You come back, like 12 rounds of sparring, 40 minutes of clinching. And then you do some conditioning work. So like push-ups, sit-ups, or, you know, whatever they have you doing. And then you do your run again, 4 kilometers uphill, same thing.
Must have come back shredded from that. Is it training camp or what is it?
Yeah, it was a training camp in preparation for 2023 World Combat Games.
Like army shit.
It was really tough, but it allowed me to build my mental strength. You know,
how important is that in your field?
I think it's, you know, aside from discipline, it's the most important thing.
Anthony Joshua always talks about over here.
Yeah.
He's like, if you lose this, you've lost the
100%. 100%. Your mental needs to be just on point. You can't have that thought of, you know, I don't think I can win, or I can't do this, or this is too hard. I can't, especially like, for example, let's say when cutting weight. Cutting weight is, it's borderline torture. What it is you cut 3 kilos, 4 kilos in one night, and you go to sleep, no food, no water. And then you wake up the next day, you have to do weigh-in, eat, and then you go fight. So during that time, you drop the weight in about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. You drop 4 kilos. And I did that. I did it for Saudi Games. I did it for Combat Games. The World Championships, the one recent in Greece, that one wasn't too bad, although I dropped more than 4 kilos. I dropped 5. But yeah, it's just the sauna, and then sauna suit, and then jump rope, running. It's horrible.
What do you wear something in the sauna that helps you sweat more?
Yeah, so I wear shirt, shorts, and then I wear my sauna suit pants, and then I wear a hoodie. I put the hood up, I tie it, and then I wear the jacket, the sauna suit jacket. And then it's just some jump rope.
In the sauna?
No, not in the sauna. This is before you go in the sauna.
Okay.
This is like the warm up, you know, to get your blood flowing, to get the sweat.
You go in there with a boost.
So I do a little bit of running. I do about 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes of jump rope, and then I go into the sauna, and it's in and out, in and out, in and out. And then if that doesn't work, you take everything off, and that doesn't work, you go back in the sauna again, and then you come out, and they put towels on you. They put these towels on you to just keep you sweating more and more. And then if it doesn't drop further than that, it's the hot jacuzzi and the sauna. Hot jacuzzi, sauna. And it's...
that 5 kilos is a lot for you.
Yeah, it is.
What if you don't make weight?
Don't fight.
You don't fight.
Yeah. And then all the preparation is for nothing.
I always wanted to know, why do fighters look into dropping instead of maybe gaining so you can get to the next weight class?
Mostly because of the height advantage. So if I were to fight at, like, let's say 63, okay? There are people who are around like 6'3", 6'5".
Ooh.
at 63 kilo. There's actually one guy on the national team. He got bronze. His name is Mohsen Al-Sabiani. He fought at 60 kilo, and he's about 187. 187, that's his height, and 60 kilo. The weight cut that he had to do to get there, I mean, you look him in his eyes and he looks crazy. He looks like he's just ready to kill who's ever in front of him.
Are you not eating for a few, like, did he not eat for a few days?
No, you eat, but it's controlled. His diet was very strict. I don't know exactly what it was.
Okay.
But he would train twice a day with the sauna suit. And when you're approaching the last week, so it's fight week. When you're approaching that last week, every day, twice a day with the sauna suit, and all you're working on is cardio. So to get the sweat out, to lose that weight, and that's what he does.
Are you portioning your water intake as well, or can you go?
Water is, it's fine. Water's okay. The things that are to stay away from, obviously carbs. And obviously goes without saying, no like food from outside. No junk food.
Maybe not too much protein either.
Yeah. So I had about, at one point it was 150 grams of protein, 200 grams of protein, 150 grams of carb. No, not per day. It was a meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would have my dinner would be 100 grams of carbs only, and then 150 of protein. And then in the morning, breakfast, lunch, it was around the same. It was 150 carb, 200 protein.
I would have thought that they'd want you to have your carbs in the daytime and not at night.
Yeah. So, but I still need carbs because I'm working out twice a day.
Yeah.
So it was never that bad for me where I had to cut off carbs completely. Alhamdulillah, I've always been able to make
metabolism,
weight.
I think, as well is...
It helps, yeah.
Yeah, can you give me some of your metabolism, mashallah? When you hit 40, it's crazy how I could have a solid lunch and I'm good till the end of the day. But then I move some weights. If I'm having a good week where I'm doing a bit of weights, it's crazy how instantaneously I can have 3 meals a day, no problem. Just by moving some weight. It's unbelievable. Representing the country abroad, first time you did it, what kind of high does that come with?
Honestly, it was a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. It was like all eyes were on me. And everybody's looking at me to perform. Because everybody's seen me in the national championship. Everybody's seen me in the World Combat Games. So the first time that I went abroad, it was Greece. It was, in May or June, sorry. Everybody looked at me and they're like, oh, this guy's, he has to. Basically, I have to win. And if I don't win, it's like I didn't do what I was supposed to do, what was expected of me. And it was, although it was a lot of pressure, it was just like so much adrenaline, flowing through me every single day. Every single day I was there, I was just like, I don't care who's in front of me. I don't care where you're from. I don't care how long you've been doing the sport. I don't care how many more fights you have than me. I'm going to win and I'm going to beat you. And I don't care who you are. And that was just because of all the high expectations everybody had of me, and also the support that everybody gave me, because everybody on the team, everybody back home, my family, my friends, my partners, my training partners, everybody was behind me. And it felt like I could do anything. So it's
all about who you have in your corner, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I've spoken to maybe 5 or 6 athletes who competed for Saudi in the Olympics, and the common denominator word, honestly, is the support that they got from whether it's the ministry, Prince Abdulaziz himself, Adwa, Badr al-Ghadi, any of these senior people, they're involved. They're there with you. It's just, it's amazing to have that kind of support, honestly. And just hearing you say that, I mean, without that, you wouldn't have had the fire in your eyes where you said, you know what, I don't care how good you are, I don't care how many more years you have on me, I'm going to run through you. Whether I beat you or not, we'll leave that secondary, but I'm going to give you a tough fight.
That was exactly my mentality, 100%. I went into my first fight. Usually I do this thing in my first fight where I'm gauging my opponent. I try to read him. And, in the first round, I realized he had some flaws, that I could pick apart, but I didn't act on it. And it cost me that round. It cost me the first round. I went into my corner. My coach looked at me. He's like, what's wrong with you? You know you're better than this guy. You know you're stronger than him. He's afraid of you. Because I hit him with one of my hooks. And instantly his face just went like, he backed up, started backing up.
You didn't know which hand it was.
Yeah. And then, my coach looked at me. He's like, he's afraid of you. He doesn't want this. Go out and khalas, just end this.
Yeah.
And I went out in the second round, messed him up. I messed him up in the second round. Third round, just dominated. And then I won that fight. That was the first fight against Belarus, against a very, very good opponent.
From Belarus.
European champion, yeah.
Those guys from that part of the world, there's some fighters that come out of that Dagestan, obviously.
Yeah, that Soviet style.
The Muslim part of Russia. There's some dogs there, man.
Yeah. It's the environment.
It's an environment.
Yeah.
Islam, obviously Habib, Hamzat, those Dagestanis, man, they're the toughest guys in the world.
You don't want to...
No, you don't.
These guys, you don't want to mess with them.
You don't. Rogan speaks a lot about them. He's like, those guys, they're religious. They don't party. They're not into the party scene, alcohol. They just worship Allah and they fight. That's all they do. And look at the product. I mean, maybe the top 3 fighters are those 3 guys of all time. You can make that case. Habib, Hamzat, and Islam are probably the 3 toughest to ever play in UFC, fight in UFC.
I mean, look, I don't know about Hamzat being there as the best. He's definitely...
in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely in the conversation.
Islam in the conversation.
100%.
You're right.
Islam beat Oliveira
just a unit.
Just dominated that fight.
And Habib
when he took the
would argue he's the GOAT. Some people would actually argue, I support that he's the GOAT.
I don't think so.
You don't?
Honestly, I think Demetrius Johnson is the GOAT.
What about John Bones Jones? No?
I mean, look, when you look at...
Wow, I do know a bit of UFC.
Mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson is just perfect. He has the ground game. He has his striking. He gets in and out he moves like he's a ghost. You can never catch him.
I would take your word for him. I'm just Googling the guy. I'm ashamed to say I have not heard of him. Young?
Demetrius Johnson.
Oh yeah, man. He's
we
chiseled.
call him Mighty Mouse.
Jeez. This guy, right?
Yeah, that guy. He's retired now. He just retired.
How have I not heard of him?
He left the UFC a while ago. He's been in one championship.
Diaz brothers?
Those guys are just brawlers. Those guys just have it's like someone who just no game plan, just wants to fight. They just wants to fight and they're a cardio machine. They can go 5 rounds, championship rounds, no problem.
Do you stay up late and do you watch UFC when it's on 3, 4, 5 in the morning? Do you watch a lot?
Yeah, I do. But sometimes if I have training, if I'm in training camp and I can't afford to stay that late,
of course,
I just wake up, I wake up at 5 or wake up at 6, whatever time it is, 6, 7. And then I just watch the fight. I go to training. I come back home and then like I just go about my day.
جديد. اكسر الروتين مع أطباقنا الجديدة من بيتزا هات جدة. بيتزا هات جدة، ذوق طعم الثقة معنا.
طب براء, يعني with all that you've achieved, with how much you have improved in the sport, how has that affected your confidence in life outside of the sport?
Yeah.
The way you carry yourself in society. Have you noticed anything different there?
Yeah, actually. Before Muay Thai, I was very like in my own shell, you know. It was tough for me to like talk to people who I didn't know, like to meet new people. Very very difficult for me. And now it's like it's obviously given me so much, you know, from a career perspective. More than that, as like my entire life, you know, it's changed completely who I am. It's made me who I am today. It's, you know, it's allowed me to just walk, you know, in the street, and anyone who approaches me, I just, Assalamu alaikum, hi, how are you? And I can actually talk to them. Before I couldn't do that. Before it was very, very difficult for me. I used to get shy.
At what age are you talking where it was difficult for you? 16, 17?
Up until 17.
17, just before you started. So you investing your time and learning the sport has directly affected your confidence in a good way.
Yeah, 100%. It's literally made me who I am. I can't remember who I was. Like it doesn't sit right in my head that, you know, I was not like this before Muay Thai. In my head, I've always been like this because it's, you know, it's become so normal to me, you know, and I'm grateful that I found this sport.
Are you obsessed?
Yeah, I am. I can't imagine my life without it. I'm like, it's safe to say that I'm never gonna stop training.
No, it's a good thing to be obsessed with. It's a good addiction.
It's, you know, it's one of the main things that helps you when you reach those high levels. It's one of the main things that gives you that edge, whether you're obsessed or not. Because if you're obsessed, you're gonna do anything. You know, you're prepared to die in the ring, and if that's what it takes, khalas, so be it. You know, that's what obsession means. You're willing to do anything and everything to win. And when you have that, and the other person sees that in your eyes, they're like, you know, I don't want this.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight this guy anymore. And they back up.
Absolutely. Well said. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make?
You know, obviously, time with family, friends. I went to uni about, you know, 2021, went to uni, and I didn't have the usual uni experience.
What kind of experience did you have?
It was basically studying and training. That's it. And some part of me felt like, before I felt like, oh, maybe I wasted it. But now I see all that I've accomplished. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And I wouldn't change a thing. But yeah, sacrificing time with family and friends is very difficult. You know, I've messed up, not messed up, but I've drifted from a couple friends because of it. And they were childhood friends, you know. And it sucks, but it's what you have to do. And it's the price that comes with it.
Putting yourself first is one of the best things you can do for yourself.
It is, but you have to also know that it's, you know, it becomes a very lonely life. I mean, this past year, this is the year that I've taken to focus on Muay Thai. I mean, I barely spend time with my family. And my friends leave that. They'll always be there, you know. My family is more important. I barely see them. I wake up 7 a.m., go to training, come back home. I'm exhausted. I sleep. I wake up, spend like 2 hours with them. I train again. And each training session is like about 2.5 hours. You know, the night training sessions could sometimes go to 3 hours long. And I come back home from that, like 9 p.m. I'm asleep. 10 p.m. max, I'm out. And you know how Jeddah people are, Jeddah families, dinners at like 12 a.m., 11 p.m.
It's ridiculous.
You know? So
I feel bad that we're approaching 10 p.m. right now and I have you here. But you're building something far greater than for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing something obviously for yourself, but you know, you're representing the country in a capacity.
Like about 2 days ago, like yesterday actually, I was talking to my dad, and then like we were just having a normal conversation. And then he just looks at me and he goes, like I'm about to leave, I'm about to go to my room. He looks at me and he goes, Baraa, ترى أنا فخور بيك يعني جدا. And you've made me so proud. And then I looked at him and I was like, no. like this is so unexpected.
Just out of the blue, he said, I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm really, really proud of you. Everything that you've done, I'm so proud.
Man, that's just like...
And it's the best
gold
feeling.
Right there.
Best feeling.
Best thing ever.
Especially when like, my dad says that to me. I'm like, okay, thank you so much.
So his compliments they don't come always, few and far between, but when it comes, you know that he means it.
Yeah. He means it with all his heart.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. He'll never forget that.
Never, yeah. But it's, like like I said, they've always supported me, you know? But my dad is one of those, like, it's not tough love. It's just, he's not always like, you know, showering us with love. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. No.
It's firm.
Yeah. But I believe it's built us into who we are as a family.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, you know, us, my brothers and sisters, all of us. Our success is partly attributed to that, to the way my father brought us up. So I think it's a really, really good thing, the way he does things.
I've seen too many examples of the contrary, where fathers are too lenient, and the result of a child's behavior is not something you want to see. It's a disaster. And I think we're losing a lot of firm dads. I think it's an old school thing.
Yeah.
I think the dads that are out there that are like your father are few and far between. And I have 3 children, and my default is nice, kindness, but that doesn't turn your boys into men.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to just get out of my default and be firm with them when it's time to be firm. You know,
100%.
Pursue a passion. You know, you need to do something productive every day.
And nobody's going to give anything to you,
Yeah. Like, I love the fact that you started at 17 years old. It's amazing, you know. When you're 30, inshallah, you would have been doing it for 13 years. That's like, khalas, you've mastered it at that.
Inshallah.
You know, you at that age, if not sooner. Tough love is important, and it's a rare commodity these days.
Yeah.
Does anything out there scare you?
Are you talking about like fighting wise, or
anything in life? It could be in or outside of the ring.
Disappointing my parents. That is, I would say, my biggest fear. 100%.
Wow.
Disappointing because if I look at my mom or my dad and they go like, I didn't think you'd do this, or I thought you'd do better. It's just
Stings.
and it's a horrible, horrible feeling, you know. And I think that's what scares me the most. So I never want to disappoint them.
Has it happened in your younger years?
Yeah.
Schooling?
Yeah, it has. It has.
Yeah.
And it, you know, the few times that it happened, I had to check myself and go like, you know, I need to get back on track. I can't be doing this. You know, I need to make them proud. I need to, you know, أرفع راسهم.
الآن ليس الجديد الأفضل على الإطلاق، نكهة قوية، كرمشة مثالية.
You're very mature for your age.
Thank you.
Allah. You're really, you're right. I honestly think it's because of what you do. I think it's because of combat sports. I think it's because of Muay Thai. I think it's because of time in solitude. It makes you humble. Getting hitting, the training, it toughens you up.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you hear about kids that are a disaster and their parents send them to military school. They come back sharp as a nail. So it does something to you that, you know, up at 4-kilometer run and, you know, that system can create, you know, real men. And that's why at 21, you're very mature for your age.
I mean, Muay Thai it's a rough environment.
It's rough, huh?
Very rough. Because you're in there and obviously depending on, you know, who your coach is. But the coach that I have, Bubkar Areba, he's built me up from the ground up, you know? And he's one of those who's very strict.
Yeah.
Very, very strict. And, you know, he'll hit you if you mess up.
Physically.
Yeah. You know. Like if you are, you know, you're not taking it seriously, they'll come to you and be like, you know, what are you doing? And then sparring comes, come here.
Wow.
And then it's,
that's,
you know, it's
tough,
just,
he just,
but it's like when you're making a sword, you know, you need to hit it with the hammer over and over and over again until khalas, you know, it's ready.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He's built champions. He is a champion himself.
He knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. His system works.
But you know, it's I'm very grateful to have him as a coach. It's acquired taste, you know, but it works. It works, and he knows his stuff.
Is he your inspiration, or who inspires you?
My dad.
Your dad.
Yeah. My dad came from nothing. And so to see him come from nothing and be able to give us a good life, I started already head start, you know, than what my dad had. What a shame it would be if I didn't go far, you know? How can I not go far? So that motivates me, that inspires me every single day to just keep pushing no matter what. No matter what, I need to keep going.
You have it easier than he did.
Who?
You
My dad?
have it easier than your dad did.
Yeah, 100%. Much easier. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
You know, but it just, it puts things into perspective for you. It shows you that just because you're starting from zero doesn't mean you can't make it. And that was similar the case to Muay Thai. I started at 17, and you said that's an early age. It's not. People start at 10. People start at 10 years old. So when I started at 17, like, I was like in my head when I started competing, I had this thought. I'm like, how am I gonna match these guys? How am I gonna compete with them? They have a decade more than me.
Experience.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
But خلاص, just train. Put your faith in Allah. خلاص. Well, Bismillah. And just go inside and fight. Whatever happens, happens. But I think that's what I've learned the most from my dad. You don't have to start from, already a high position. You can be at 0 while everybody else is at 10 already. You can still match up. It's completely fine.
Chip away.
Exactly.
Who else helped you along the way besides your parents?
My brother. My brother is
your punching bag?
No, I'm the youngest, so I was the punching bag in the house, But no, my brother is, I don't know. There's so many words that come into my head to describe him. My brother is the most supportive. He's the guy that if I'm in trouble, he's there in a second. Doesn't even ask what.
That's a brother.
Immediately he's there, and he's gonna drop every single thing, And all my brothers do that. All my brothers would do that for me, but with this brother, his name is Ridwan. With him, because we're close in age, 2 years apart. My other brothers is 7 years or 6 years, 10 years
older.
Apart. Yeah. With him, it's like he's always there with me. He started Muay Thai about 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And he's just, ever since he started Muay Thai, he's just been nonstop. Like, yo, let's go train. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And he actually sent me a voice message the night before I was supposed to fight in the World Combat Games. And you can imagine this night. It was just I was overthinking so much. And this was my first opponent. His name was Michael Fernandez, a world champion, professional world title. And
Brazilian?
Huh?
Brazilian?
Excuse me? No, he's not Brazilian. He's Spanish. And so I'm laying there in bed, and I get a voice message from my brother randomly. I didn't tell him what I was feeling or anything, but I assume he just guessed it. And he sent me a voice message basically saying that your style is very unique. He's saying that I've watched a lot of fights. I've watched a lot of fighters, and nobody moves like you do. Trust yourself and step in the ring and do what you need to do. Don't do anything more. Don't do anything less. And he said this is a quote. He said, Wallah Albaraa, you can win this whole thing. And he said that, and I played it over and over and over and over and over again. Before the fight, I'm playing it over and over and over again.
It's just what you need to hear.
Exactly. And it gave me that, that spark, khalas. And my eyes just, as soon as I stepped in the ring, I'm going to kill you, And alhamdulillah, I didn't come with the gold, but I came with the silver medal.
Amazing.
In World Combat Games.
Amazing.
So
your brother Ridwan, huh?
Yeah. My brother is just the best, man.
What a G. How many brothers?
I have 3 brothers. 3 brothers, 2 sisters.
Inshallah. Family, big family, 5.
Yeah.
Just like me and my siblings. Any tough opponent, like a tough, really one that you won't forget? pushed you to your limits?
My last opponent, his number 16 world ranked.
16 in the world.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
2023
2023 world champion.
in the 60 kilogram.
57. I fight 57.
57.
Yeah.
And he was number 16 in the world.
Yeah. And 2023 world champion. 2023 European champion. His name is Igor Bikriev from Russia. I watched this fight because he fought. So we were in different brackets. So I watched his semifinal. His opponent wasn't very skilled, so he put him out easy in, I think, the second round with an elbow. He cut him open, and then that's it. The fight was stopped. So I didn't really know what to expect. I went into the ring, and then instantly, in the first minute, this guy is so evenly matched to me. I mean, literally just like this, you know. And the fight was so technical. The fight was extremely, extremely technical. There is not a single mistake that you can make which he won't pick up on. There wasn't a single mistake that he made that I didn't pick up on. And the fight was just the most difficult fight I've ever been in. You know, it was... First round was his. You know, he got me with his Soviet style, his quick in and out style.
Is that known as the Soviet style?
Yeah. So he bounces inward, throws a couple punches, bounces outward, and as I step in, he throws a kick.
Oh,
scores a big point for him. And so first round he got it. Second round, I was like, okay, I need to hit him with my hands because I know my hands are heavy. So I hit him with my left hook in the second round, knocked him down. And then...
Must have felt good.
It felt amazing. Yeah, it felt insane. But yeah, second round, just back and forth, nonstop. I'm throwing spinning kicks. He's throwing spinning kicks, spinning elbow, spinning back fist. Everything is just, and it's just an inch away from landing. Like this. And I hit him, he slips, he hits me, I slip. It was
technical, as you said in the beginning. Technical.
It was so, like, although the fight was, very difficult, it was so entertaining.
I was going to say, it must have been amazing for the neutrals who were watching.
Yeah. They loved it. They loved the fight, 100%. But,
toughest opponent?
100%, yeah. I hit him with that left hook, and not many people would get up after I hit him with that shot. But he got up, and he continued to fight normally. Like, usually I can tell if my opponent is dazed, because when they're dazed, that's when I go in. Couldn't see it in his eyes.
Meathead.
Yeah, I couldn't see it in his eyes.
Those Russians are built differently.
Yeah, I mean, he was a tough guy. The fight was finished. Blood all over my face, blood all over his face. It was just full on. Like there was a rocky moment in that fight that I think was a rocky moment for me. Honestly, this was my only rocky moment. And then he threw a push kick. It was the third round, push kick, and hit me in my throat. And I went back into the ropes.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, it's completely allowed. I don't think he meant to do it, but it just landed that way. And my head was a little bit up, and it caught me in my throat. And then it sent me back into the ropes. I sprung myself back up, and as he was going for a hook, I threw an overhand right, and he fell back into the ropes.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah, I got him.
Had him.
I got him with that overhand. And then he got back up. I looked at him. It was like, I think a minute left. We just both nodded. And we just started going ham, just crazy. I'm throwing
You hit him,
hooks.
he hits you.
Exactly.
You hit him. Okay, I know what you mean now by the Rocky moment.
You get me? It was just like, I'm ready to die now.
It's on, yeah.
Yeah, khalas. If I die today, khalas, I die today. Yalla, let's go. Who really wants this more, me or you? You know?
Are you composed throughout all of this? Do you ever lose your cool? How important is composure in all of this?
It's extremely important. It's, you know, it's if you let emotions get in the way, you're lost.
And I see people on the football field and basketball court and they lose it. But let alone fighting.
Yeah.
This is where discipline comes in, right?
Exactly. You can't get angry. You can't get emotional. You get emotional, you're gonna throw a punch, you're gonna throw a kick without thinking. And that's gonna cost you the fight. You might get angry, you might throw overhand right without thinking about it. He sees it, you telegraph it, he sees it, slips, you're knocked out. You can never get emotional.
Your adrenaline is sky high, so controlling that is another battle within the battle.
100%. It was a little bit tricky in the first fight that I had, but you know, as I got more fights, as I got more comfortable with it, it became a lot easier to to control that. Oh, he just hit me. I need to get him back. I need to hit him back. Like, no, he can't hit me like that. He's making me look bad. I need to hit him with a big shot now. No.
Ego.
Yeah.
Is the enemy.
Get rid of the ego.
It's a good book. You should read it.
Oh, that's
what a title.
Book.
Yeah, okay. Solid. Ego is the enemy. It really is.
Okay.
If you park your ego, you'll be more level-headed, as I'm sure you...
It just explains it very, very well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you let your ego take control...
You're done.
Khalas.
You're done.
The fight's gone.
Yeah. Do you see yourself doing this up until you can do it as long as your body can do it? I mean, 40, I don't know how long Muay Thais go for professionally, but you want to go the distance?
Yeah, I do. I want to start competing professionally in about 2 years. In about 2-3 years, I'm going to, inshallah, bidnillah, I'm going to make my debut.
You're doing it full-time now, right?
Yeah, right now I'm doing it full-time.
Graduated college?
But, I graduated university, but I'm going to start a job soon, inshallah. But I'm still going to continue training and competing. And then we'll see how it goes.
When you go professionally, it'll be full-time.
Yeah, it will. And as scary as that is, I'm really excited. I can't wait. Like for myself, obviously it's a huge honor, but I want everybody to know Saudis can fight. I'm Saudi. I can fight. If I want to. It doesn't matter you're from whatever, Russia. Okay. I'm in Saudi. I can fight too. And I want everybody to know that. Because everybody looks at us in the World Championships and they're like, oh, I have a Saudi. Easy fight. Easy fight.
You want to change that narrative?
That just makes me so angry.
So go out and change that narrative.
Yeah, I will, inshallah.
You're going about it the right way. Change the way they see us.
I mean,
our representation in combat sports, obviously, Tariq Hamad, silver, amazing. But in the grand scheme of things, no, it could be a lot better. And there's a new generation coming up the ranks, man.
The new generation is going to be much better.
Yeah.
And they're going to be
grassroots
killers.
Yeah.
100%.
It's happening.
Inshallah, bidnillah, they're going to see Saudi, in the medal standings. You're going to see 10 gold medals for Saudi. Inshallah,
My generation, it was all about football. And now you're getting empowered top down. I mean, we have a rowing team. When did Saudi ever compete in rowing before Japan?
Don't even know.
It's so much more than just football these days, man.
I mean, the Ministry of Sports is they're putting their fingers in everything.
Yeah.
You have rowing, you have Muay Thai, you have boxing, you have kickboxing. Every single sport they're trying to get in on. I even heard I heard something about skiing.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to make a...
Yeah.
Is that true?
Sharif Al-Sideri skis for Saudi.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting everything into it.
When Prince Abdulaziz came on a year and a half ago, he came on twice, alhamdulillah, but his first one almost 2 years ago, he told me that we're approaching 100 federations, 100 sporting federations in Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
Rowing, football being one of them. 100. And the goal was, I think, 120 or something.
I mean, I think they're starting to, they're starting to see the importance of sport, how much it can benefit the country.
Look at the Saudi Games.
Exactly, yeah. Saudi Games is, I mean, this is going to be the third edition of the Saudi Games. When have you ever seen anything like this?
No, you haven't. You haven't. And there's a nice purse to it too.
Exactly.
You get compensated if you get first. And I think that's the quickest way to create future Olympians who will medal, where you have, I don't know how many events, but you have a good amount of events.
About 42.
42 events.
Games,
People competing, nice prize money at the end. You get sucked into it, you get better, you improve, and then one day you're representing in the Olympics.
Inshallah.
It's actually a genius idea. And while you're doing all that, your society is getting healthier.
Yeah. I mean, it's last year's Saudi Games, we had, in my weight class, a guy named Ahmed Risli. And he was, he's a world champion, Moroccan fighter. He's a coach, actually, in one of the gyms in Riyadh. And this was the guy that I fought in the semifinal. I lost to him split decision, 28-29. It was such a close fight. And I saw it in his eyes.
28-20.
After the second round, I saw it in his eyes. He wasn't expecting me to be this good.
Yeah.
And what I think that the Legend Olympia, what I think that they did, the best thing that they did was introduce like these guys, this Moroccan guy, they're allowing these non-Saudis to compete. Because if it's just Saudis, you're not going to get anywhere.
So the Olympic Committee are involving more people for the sake of enhanced competition.
Exactly. And I think that, honestly, that's such a good thing that they did. Because it allowed me to elevate my game.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. After I fought him, I realized that there's so many mistakes that I made. And although it was a close fight, I can get so much better. And that's all because I fought him.
Of course, you'll only get better when you're challenged. If you're beating everyone, blowing them out of the water, that's not going to do much for you.
Exactly, yeah.
But being around people that'll push you will make you better.
100%. I mean, inshallah.
What's the old saying? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So get into a room where you're not the smartest, and then you will be elevated.
You learn, you get better, and that's Saudi Games. I think is going to go on for about 7 more years.
Amazing.
And I promise you, I mean, I don't have to tell you. I think you know this. We are going to have just
athletes,
killers. We're going to have champions, inshallah, and we're going to have just representation in in the Olympics. We're going to have representation in World Combat Games, the Asian Indoor Games, all of these events. You're going to see it, and you're going to see Saudi medaling. You're going to see Saudi getting a gold medal. You're going to see Saudi getting a silver medal. You're going to see Saudi on the podium in almost every single thing. And I promise you that.
Way more than we've ever seen. And that's the strategy behind this all.
Yeah. I think it's amazing, honestly. Best thing they did.
Yeah. Got to take your hat off to them. What do you want to be remembered for when it's all said and done? When you hang up the gloves? Do you guys use gloves?
Yeah.
So when you hang up the...
you think we find bare knuckle?
The Muay Thai gloves. What do you want people to say about Albaraa Al-Amoudi?
I want people to know that, remember me for never being afraid. No matter who it was across from me in that ring, I went inside, showed no fear, and went toe to toe. And I'm happy to say that I went toe to toe with some of the best in the world. And I think I think that's the most important thing for me, you know, for them to remember that I was never afraid of any fighter, that I always wanted to, you know, push myself, that I always wanted to challenge myself. I never wanted an easy fight, because an easy fight is not going to get you anywhere. So challenging myself is, you know, that's what I want people to know me for. That guy, you know, that guy doesn't mess around. That guy wants all the smoke. I want all the smoke. Give me, come on, let's see. Let's see if you're really about it. Let's see.
I love the fire in you. I love the fire in you. Wishing you all the best, Habibi. Well done.
So
Great
much.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
Keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing to see the drive that's in you. You clearly, you want it. And I can't wait to see you achieve and medal and represent and do what you're doing now on an even bigger scale. So thank you for representing. Thank you for pushing yourself to your limits. And
so
good things
much.
will come from that.
Inshallah. Thank you so much
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Much appreciated, Habibi. Thanks, bro.
Okay.
All right. Really? I loved it.
I don't know. I felt like...
Right? But you're in such a zen.